This lesson is a review of combining like terms and the distributive property. As we go through this short video, I just want you to have a sheet of paper out and take notes on your sheet of paper. Try problems as we go through them so that when you get to the homework, it's a little bit easier. So I'm going to begin by talking about combining like terms. Okay, so let's make a list here, for example. Okay, like terms, sometimes we call this first name, last name. They have to have the same last name, or they have to have the same variables in order for them to be considered like terms. Okay, so they can be something simple like -5 and 8. Those are considered like terms because neither one of them have a variable. Then we have something like 2x and -3x are considered like terms. Then you can actually get into some exponents. Let's say that you have x squared and 2x squared. Okay, notice that not only is the variable the same, but so is the exponent. And you can also have different letters as well, different variables. So maybe 2xyz and 5xyz. But notice they still have the exact same variables with the same exponents. Examples that are not like terms would be if I were to make this -5 and -5x and 8. So these are not like terms. Let's see, if this was a 2x and a -3y, those are not like terms. If I have x squared and I have a -2x, okay, even though they both have an x, they don't have the same exponent, so they're not considered like terms and you would not be able to combine them. And finally, let's do 2xyz and 3xy. Okay, we would not be able to combine these two because the 3xy does not have the variable z. Okay, so here I've written out an example for you. The directions here just say to simplify. So example 1, we're simplifying these 3 different examples. So letter A, we have 4x plus 7x. Since both have the variable x, 4 plus 7 would be 11x. So those are 2 terms that we can go ahead and put together. Letter B, we have 2t minus 17t. And one thing to consider here, this is like a subtraction of integers problem. Okay, we would have to do the 2-line rule. And this is different signs different. So the difference between 2 and 17 is 15. The larger number is negative, and obviously the variable t is going to remain with that. Okay, so 2t and 17t both have the same variable. We went ahead and combined them. Just remember, combining doesn't necessarily mean adding. If the symbol in between those 2 terms says to subtract, then you have to subtract. Letter C says c minus 5d. Notice that c and d are not like terms. They don't have the same variables in them, and so we really can't do anything to simplify this. It is as simplified as it can get. Okay, I've given you 3 more examples that I want you to go ahead and try. Pause the video, try these examples right now on your own. Okay, so let's go through these. We have 8b plus 3b, so those both share the same variable b, and that's going to be 11b. 34x minus 3x, again, those both share the same variable, so we can go ahead and do 34 minus 3 is 31, so we should have 31x. And the last one, -9r plus 22r, they both have r. We can go ahead and combine them. We have -9 and we have plus 22, which is different signs difference. So if we take 22 minus 9, we get 13. And then we take the sign of the larger number, which is 22, which is positive. And so we get 13r. Okay, and the next part of this lesson is going to be the distributive property. And anytime you have a number outside of parentheses, that means multiply. But the thing is you have to multiply that number by everything inside the parentheses. So that's why we draw arrows, just to help us remember that we're multiplying, in this case, that 2 to the A, the 2 to the B, the 2 to the C, and the 2 to the D. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to get 2 times A, bring down that plus sign, and then we have 2 times B, bring down that plus sign, 2 times C, bring down another plus sign, and 2 times D. Okay, so since we have a number next to a variable, we don't need the dot to show multiplication. So our answer here would just be 2A plus 2B plus 2C plus 2D for our final answer. Okay, I've written out a couple of examples for us to practice the distributive property and the combining like terms. Okay, so here you can see that the 2 is outside the parentheses x minus 5. So we're going to distribute the 2 not only to the x, but also to the 5. So we've got 2 times x, bring down the subtraction sign, and then 2 times 5. Don't forget the plus 7x. So bring that down, and then let's simplify. We have 2x minus 10 plus 7x. And here it's pretty easy for us to see that 2x and 7x together can go together because they're like terms. That can give us 9x. And then the minus 10 has to stay on its own because it does not have a variable x in it. The next example, we've got 4 times 2b plus 4 times 1, and then don't forget to bring down the minus 3b. So 4 times 2 is 8, so that gives us 8b. 4 times 1 is 4, and then minus 3b. And then here we go. We're going to go ahead and add some things together. 8b minus 3b, those are like terms. That's going to give us 5b plus 4. All right, I just wrote out 2 more examples. We're going to do the first one together, and then I'm going to have you pause the video and try to do letter D on your own, and then play the video again to see if you got the right answer. So looking at C, you have to think about what specifically are you being asked to distribute. And a lot of students see that we're going to distribute the 3 here. But it's really important for you to look at the sign that comes before the 3, because you're not just distributing the number, you're also distributing the symbol as well. If we look back here at letter A, I made these pretty easy because the number that we were distributing here, so this 2, was positive, so we didn't really have to worry about distributing any negative sign. Same thing on letter B, I made that a positive 4. Okay, but letter C is a different case because now we are distributing not only the 3, but also the negative sign. So 8C comes down, and it's going to be negative 3 times C. Then I'm going to bring down this subtraction sign. So we're going to bring that subtraction sign down. But notice here, we still have to distribute the negative 3 to now just the 5. Since we brought that negative sign down, we don't worry about that negative 5. It's just a 5 now. But we do have to take the negative 3 times the 5. Okay, so when we clean this up a little bit, we have 8C minus 3C, and then minus a negative, we would do the 2-line rule here and get plus 15. So here's a way for you to check to see if you distributed the negative sign correctly. C right now, initially, is positive. Since we're distributing a negative, notice that C becomes negative. The 5 here starts out negative. When we distribute the other negative sign to it, it becomes a positive 15. So our final answer, okay, let's see, we would have 8C minus 3c plus 15. And we can go ahead and combine the 8c and the negative 3c together and get 5c plus 15. Okay, go ahead and pause the video. I want you to try letter D. Remember, you're distributing not just a 2, but a negative 2. Okay, so we're distributing that negative 2. We have 11 that we're bringing down. And then remember, we're distributing not just the 2, but the negative sign as well. So that's a negative 2 that we're multiplying by 3b. I'm going to bring down this plus sign here. And then we're distributing the negative 2 to the positive 1. So we have 11 minus 6b. Now, if you guys recall, anytime that you had a plus minus like this, I told you to get rid of the plus sign. Okay, so think about it. If you have a plus minus, that's basically what you get after you do the 2-line rule. If it's just a minus and then you do the 2-line rule, that's what you get. So we want to go back to just the subtraction sign. So that's just going to be a minus 2. And then think about what can we combine together. We've got 11 and we have a minus 2. So that's going to be 9 minus 6b. Okay, so this was a real quick review on combining like terms and using the distributive property. Now you can go ahead and fill out your Google form. That's going to be your homework. One thing that I want to make sure that you pay very, very close attention to when you do your Google form, or you could literally miss every single problem, is when you type in your answers, please do not put any spaces in. So no spaces. Okay, so for example, this 5c plus 15, don't do 5c and then a space and then plus and then a space and then 15. Okay, that will get you the wrong answer. So no spaces. You're literally going to type 5c plus 1, 5, okay, when you type in your answers. Okay, negative signs, same thing. You can use a negative sign, but just make sure that you do not put any spaces in there.